Listen, a minute late because we were going through organizational changes. See y'all talk. It is the worst seeing y'all say, "Wow, he's late." As I watch the second clock on my Windows computer tick past 59 seconds. It is the worst feeling in the world. I was so close. But hello, everybody. This is the ranting hour, and I didn't set up the Discord voice thing appropriately. Whoops, whatever. Where we rant for at least an hour, sometimes more about the in-between stuff that doesn't make it into my videos because I am lazy. We generally don't plan what's going on, but we go where the wind takes us. If we go off the rails, we embrace it. Tonight, I'm welcomed by Necklord, who made a surprise appearance preemptively instead of the middle of the show this time, thankfully.
Yeah, I've broken my trademark signature ability.
Sorry, guys. I made a new role on a different server, so I don't have to leech off of TCC anymore. And then I purposely didn't tell Necklord that I did this, so he wouldn't know where to join us. But he figured it out today, unfortunately. But that should make organizing things in the future a bit more manageable. I was floating the idea around. Tell suggested that I do some sort of call-in show, and I think that would be hilarious, but I don't have the logistics ready to do that yet, but that would be hilarious at some point if people wanted to come on air and debate. But don't expect that anytime soon, because we've been doing this for 6 months now, and I only just now organized a channel with my own roles in it. That's that'll show you how fast I work. But anyways, Necklord's here, Ink is here, Nidre's here. Mino may or may not show up. We don't know. He's doing grown man shit. So he might be in chat trolling. I don't know. But before we get started, if you are watching live right now or catching the VOD, do me a favor and like the video. It helps out a ton. It's the biggest thing you can do to help out, gets it up in the algorithm, etc. So go ahead and hit the Dougie on that like button, eat on that like button, drop dance on the like button. If you're watching the VOD, be sure to leave a comment. Chatting helps as well in the chat. I do keep an eye on chat from time to time. Well, we might be going crazy. If you want to get my attention, please feel free to throw a super chat, and I will hear the notification. Shout out to Indolent Lard. He's gonna hit me up with the timestamps eventually. He apologized for me for not doing them immediately for the last episode, and I honestly forgot that he didn't. So again, let's give a hand clap for Indolent Lard, because he really is one of the greatest people out there. And I can't appreciate him enough, because really I should be doing my own damn timestamps, but he volunteers. There's no need to apologize for something that you're doing volunteering. Mouthful. I'm barely reading my intro at this point. But if you want more of these shenanigans, be sure to join the TCC Discord, and please do not bring any cringe. This is where we usually hang out. Always give my shout out to Mark, because he encouraged me to keep up with this content creator shit. Probably wouldn't have stuck to YouTube without him, so go support TCC. They do a podcast every Thursday at 9. Don't miss that. You can catch Mino over there. It's Mino and Mark every Thursday. They talk about Dissidia, and it's a lot more formal and organized than this mess. If you want to become a member, $1 for emotes. You can probably see a bunch of green in the chat at this point. Yeah, only $1. I keep saying I need to ramp it up because I want to make more money, but I haven't done it yet. Peak laziness. And every week I have begun calling out for people to start making more content. Anyone can do what we're doing. It just takes time. Again, shout out to Multiracial Lion. He's working on JP Retros, and he does his poll plans video. Dude's got a great voice. He got a great mic. I just watched his poll plans video the other day. It was great stuff. He's working on his craft. Anyone can do this shit. You just can't do it as well as me because you're not as cute as me. But do you have any ideas? Do you think there's an idea that needs explaining? A hot take that needs getting shut down? You want to correct something? Don't complain in the comments. Get a microphone and do it your damn self. Take responsibility for the community. You can do it. Where do I go from that? I don't know. Food, as I get into the groove. Well, what's up with you today, Ink? What kind of food you eating?
Tacos.
Why do I ask anymore?
Of course. Yeah. I might eat a taco for dinner as well. So I'm trying to hit the holy trifecta, because I had tacos for breakfast, tacos for lunch, and so the tacos for dinner sounds pretty appealing.
All right, I have to turn into a damn taco. Malicite say, you say that, but it's not that easy. No, it's not. But hell, trying should put in perspective how. I mean, I'm not going to say this is real hard work, but it does take some effort. And if you're willing to be in the peanut gallery saying what should and should be done, I think you should put some skin in the game and make your own damn content, because it's a lot more than you realize. Anyways, Necklord, what have you been eating? You been eating shit because you haven't been logging into the game?
Look, I've been moving out, so I'm busy. I'm trying. I'm like 2 Lufenias behind. I'm not doing too bad. I heard Una was pretty bad or something. If you don't have Una, but no, I'm just drinking water. I'm staying hydrated at this unusually late hour for me. 1 a.m. again. We're back on that.
I see. Degenerate. Nidre, what up with you?
Not much. Had a short work week this week, so just played a lot of DFFOO, played a little bit of Strive, as you know,
Damn,
and that's it, right?
I am
Yeah, same.
brick. Any interesting food?
Brisket, some brisket.
Damn, brisket.
Yeah.
Hold on. How moist was the brisket?
Hey, you talking about
You know,
moist meat?
it wasn't
Pause.
like, I know that you're like a Texas dude, but this was this brisket had a lot of gravy involved, so I can't say that it was necessarily engineered to be the moistest brisket, but yeah, it's probably enough brisket talk for this podcast or whatever we're
Damn,
calling
y'all slamming down some dripping wet meat. That's crazy. Pause.
Every time you try to get me with the glizzy.
Hey, I mean that's twice in a row you made to guzzling glizzies, bro. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, moist is a cursed word. That's one of those words that you feel that doesn't feel good.
From How I Met Your Mother or somewhere else?
Oh boy, off the bat. I am completely scatterbrained right now. I don't know why it is, but I always end up eating salmon on Wednesday. Maybe it's because it's quick to make, and I am usually always running late, so I just throw some salmon in the oven and eat it. But I just had some salmon, but this time I mix it up. I did have the basic bitch lemon, whatever the fuck I put on it. God, I can't think.
Lemon pepper?
Yeah. But I put Dijon mustard on there this time. I also tried.
It is weird as hell.
Yeah, it tastes. I know this is like fire recipe I have. It's like parsley. Is it honey mustard or Dijon mustard? It's one of them, and like breadcrumbs on salmon, and it comes out real nice. I used to cook that for girls in college. They loved it. And I made nachos with my girl this weekend, and I had said this in TCC General. Did I? But yeah, I did. She got a family sized thing of brownies and some cookies and cream ice cream, and I like killed them both. So I was a total fat ass this week. Was it raw? Was the salmon moist? Y'all fresh Dillon salmon.
I bought like $75 worth of Japanese snacks this weekend, and I'm through about $60 worth of it already.
Wow,
that's some serious weeb shit right there.
Yeah, total weeb. Mino's rolling in his grave right now.
I don't know if it's weeb. I don't know. It's like a cookie. Like I don't know what it says, but
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure weebs would be able to read the snack contents.
All right. Well, okay, feeling a little warmed up now. Ink, I know you wanted to talk about why bother with Rude, and I had no idea what you were talking about, so I'll let you take the floor on this.
What? Why did they even bother touching his kit? Like, it's literally the most insignificant possible updates. And someone commented on Reddit. I'm curious for all three of your opinion, right? Someone commented on Reddit and said, Root is super value. I just used him in the latest 3 Lufenia Plus. But I don't play JP, and I don't...
That doesn't mean anything. Maybe it was sarcasm.
No, they're real serious. They're real serious that it's like, hey, this is great. I used him in the last 3 Luf Plus. He's great.
You gotta tell BC. You gotta tell him about the lease saga that one of our friends started.
Yes. One of our buddies started running lease in every
Not
Lufenia Plus. No LD.
Not,
she is not lease as she is in GL right now.
No, I mean Alfie. It wasn't Alphino?
Nope.
Wow.
He did it to show how viable lease is. Lease EX Plus is very viable for current Lufenia Plus. He's been doing all of the Lufenia Pluses with her just to show her viability, her strength on the team. It's real good stuff. It's a lease saga. It really shows how flexible she is in current JP content.
Epic.
Yeah.
absolutely overpowered.
Absolutely overpowered. She is crushing Lufenia. She is making Lufenia Plus look easy. It was for what, Kefka's fight. She legitimately did help with her 5-stack overhead. You just never burned her stacks, and she could maintain the orb, and then you could just carry with the other two. But otherwise, you can just pretty much duo fights. So yeah, using any recent JP content as a bellwether for, oh, this character is really good. It really isn't it, because these fights are like, I tried the I saw that the what's it called, the Alpha No Lufenia Plus. First off, Alpha No, the YouTuber, what a fucking loser. But no, I took shots at him in my poll video today too. I don't know why I beat him up so much. He's just a funny guy. But he soloed the Lufenia with Alpha No, Lufenia Plus with Alpha No. So I was like, well, fuck me, dude. If I bring him here, it's like, it's literally just doesn't prove anything. So yeah, like, I'm sure that Rude player on the Reddit thread is enjoying himself, but
I do want to point out that he soloed without using a friend, if I remember, because I never saw like Alpha No get swapped out for like Laguna and then like milk some crazy effect. He literally rode Alpha No's new HP poison effect for a very long time.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Wait, so is that like how far gone JP currently is right now? That like,
yes,
a character can just solo the highest tier difficulty on release? Like what?
Yeah. Cypher has soloed multiple lost chapters so far.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Cypher
soloed Cypher soloed Irvine's lost chapter. Or not lost chapter. Intertwined Will. He soloed Seymour's, I believe. With Ultima Weapon, and I think there was another one. He soloed Rems as well. Yeah, it is that far gone at this point.
What really rubs me the wrong way with the way JP currently is just like very basic abilities have like multiple brave hits and HP dumps, and it just looks so like Waka is like an extreme example.
Yeah, throw one ball and do 50 hits.
Yeah, and it's just this like obnoxious stacking sound of brave hits happening really fast, and it's so awkward.
Yeah,
like I miss like Vayne on release. I miss how like his attacks hit.
Yeah, that got ruined unfortunately with this rework.
Yeah. It's
someone said, "You're really saying current global lease could whoop JP Lufenia Plus right now?" Yes. Yep.
So
I think this. Well, 1 second. I think what happened was with C90, like everyone got more powerful, but the bosses didn't. And the 85 passives that upgrade the EX have like built-in Brave damage up, Brave gain up, and like other stuff. And the boss's HP and stats, like actually, Seymour's Intertwined Will didn't even have Brave reductions, so it's kind of just giant question marks. But yes, that is what's happening right now. It's a mess.
So I'm curious, because if you look at other games, right, a lot of people complain that Lufenia isn't fun because it takes like 20 or 30 minutes, sometimes more when you're dying. The current Lufenia Plus, like it feels like you just need to throw like a specific team together to counter the orb and maybe the boss mechanic, and it's like raffle stomping it.
Yes.
Is that solving the problem? Is it like becoming more fun for some people to play because you can beat the level in like 10 minutes?
Well, what's happening now, and what's kind of it's a side effect of my favorite characters being broken, but so broken to like Zach trivializes content, Ramza trivializes content, Cloud can trivialize content. Like the people I want to use just kind of like blow stuff out the water, and it's a weird juxtaposition because you want content to be accessible, but the gap between the units and the players and the bosses at this point is so severe that you can kind of just go blind and not have to like the most dangerous things bosses have been doing is like the Seymour thing. It warped on you and he did 3 HP attacks in a row. But that's like the easiest thing to mitigate once you know it's coming. Just throw a warrior light call up, have a tank eat it. It's just not. It's in a weird spot. They're gonna need to jump a lot to make anything competitive. Because I remember a couple months ago I was saying, oh, the monetization makes sense because you can power up your favorite with ultimate weapons, and the premium pass lets you get the ultimate weapons faster, and you get more burst weapons, so you can go on other stuff. But the problem now is that none of that stuff is necessary. So while it could be fun to pay for it, it's absolutely unneeded. So I'm just kind of scratching my head at what they're kind of doing. Some fights you can outright ignore the orb too. Yeah, the funny thing is, shout out to Sinewave. If the orb went off this time, it didn't kill you, but it petrified you. So he was saying they're gonna counter Ico by having the bosses petrify us. So the the revive doesn't work, and there you go. Revive strats have now been countered by just bosses petrifying you. That's really funny.
Can you use 6 framed buff slots?
I haven't gotten petrified, so I don't know how. I don't know if it's a debuff. I don't know if it's just an effect. I haven't tried it. I did a test run on the Lufenia Plus, and I kind of dusted it in like 5 minutes. So I could go and test it. But I don't have Ico. I guess I could try Rosa there. Is that confirmed? Wait, is Mino in chat?
I wouldn't use Rosa.
Profit
I think that.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I think that to answer Ink's like direct question, like I think it definitely takes less time to be running Lufenia Plus now. Like It took me like 14, 13 turns or something. I wasn't really like trying to like do the most optimized run. It just ended up happening that way. Whether people are enjoying it or not, I think, I don't have the right data for that. The people that we interact with, they're looking for like pretty hard content. And so they feel a little less engaged. But I'm sure there are people who are out there and they're like, man, I love that I can just take, lease my favorite into all this content and stop the shit out of it. That's like, what I'm into. So I'm not sure. There was a point actually brought up earlier by Aluwen. I'm not sure I'm not pronouncing that right. About that video with the income for the month. I don't know if you wanted to touch on that.
Yes, Mino was blowing up my DM about the video.
Okay.
It was a JP content creator. I don't know their name because I didn't bother translating it. I couldn't even link the video right now. But they showed a chart of the income for the game. Revenue is the correct word there. And I want to preface this by saying revenue at one period does not imply a trend, so you shouldn't try and extrapolate conclusions from it. That is not how data works. We are purely speculating and not using this to prove any points via confirmation bias.
However, if we see anybody in the chat or somewhere else saying, "Oh man, Cloud said that that the income was going down, the revenue was going down, and the game is dying," you're a goofball.
Yeah, that's not what's being said. Just observing and speculating. I don't think the game's going anywhere anytime soon. In fact, I think they're going to introduce this new creep and shut us all up eventually. It's just really feeling like it's overstayed its welcome for a long time, which is why we're. And if you go back, I've been, and Nidre and Neckler will tell you, I've been adamantly against calling stuff easy for months. I only really started caving like in the last. It's been like this for a while now. I have only started caving recently, so I've been pushing back as far as possible. Justin killing me. Alpha No in chat. Have we reached the smack talking yet? Is that just routine at this point?
I'll actually throw out a question. As a largely JP outsider, do you think the fact content isn't particularly difficult for like proper end game players that have been like just at the end game for like months now? Do you think that isn't actually the sort of core issue? It's more that the Square Enix are trying to allow newer players to access that end game.
I don't know.
In terms of the quests.
I wish I can't even discern a motive. It's just weird.
Because that might actually even be the source of the revenue dip, is that new players are just thinking, well, I have to do all this grinding, I can't be bothered, maybe.
Maybe it's an A/B test. Maybe that's it. It's been going on for a while. But back to the video, I wanted to get that point out. I believe it was the revenue for specifically last month, where we got Zach and Laguna's BT. Nidre, keep me honest if you remember. Do you remember? Okay,
that's correct.
Yeah, and so it was. So in the first month of Lufenia Plus, it was 2.5 G. I don't even know what the G means. Is that million yen? I don't know. Okay, well, case actually I should just put it up on the screen. Why don't I do that? That'd be a lot more productive. Give me a second. But the gist was in August. August was an all-time low in the past 9 months, and I'm not reading the chat because Mino's probably filling it in more. I'll put it up on the screen in a second. Yeah, keep talking.
Yeah, I'll give you an opportunity to look through YouTube and mess with all the streaming stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to come back also and address kind of the original question that Ink had talked about like Rude specifically. The thing that I said when I saw the Tomberry Troop infographic for Rude, which, by the way, all the Tomberry Troop infographics, they're all great. But I basically said, seems unethical if the Tomberry Troop should have to make a new infographic for Rude. It's basically the same as before. But you know that somebody would complain otherwise. Like, somebody would be like, where's the Rude infographic? Fortunately, or maybe unfortunately for the Tomberry Troop, maybe unfortunately for everybody else, after next month, the LC character won't even get a High Armor Plus realization or LD boards or anything. They're going to just, like, for example, Guy, well, I guess he gets a High Armor Plus realization, but that's it. So there's not going to be an infographic for that. Those people are really left in the total dust, which is kind of sad, but, Guy gets pretty good on C90. So, yeah, but I would say that there really isn't much to talk about with Rude. Like, I had no idea what he got on his LD boards. I looked at it after the fact. I was like, this is like, fundamentally, they shouldn't have even had to do anything because it's just, it didn't change Root at all.
Okay, I found the picture. I'm putting it up on screen right about now. Boom. So the red were lows. And again, I'm going to say this because I feel like spreading this around will make it get taken out of context and people will start freaking out about the game. Please, dear God, don't do that. Because first off, it rose a month, it rose right after. So there was a dip, and we can't accurately ascertain what went on there. But I will echo the sentiment as a JP player, hello Mino, that it hasn't felt like I've really needed to pull lately. There's a number of characters I've pulled and then literally not used, like Rem, Leo, Snow. It's just been a bunch of that. Actually, Snow doesn't have C90 yet, but that's happened a couple times where I haven't felt like I needed to do content. And but yeah, Mino, you want to say what you wanted to say because I'm probably gonna butcher it.
Yeah, thanks. I only got like 8 minutes here.
Yeah, go ahead.
But this is something I really wanted to talk about because we can't talk about it on the podcast because this is JP, right? Like, there's 8 fucking months to go. But I thought the video, you prefaced it great. Like, this is a single data point.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't make any fucking conclusions yet. But I thought it brought up a ton of good talking points.
Oh, and one more thing. I did a rough Google translation of the comments, and there were JP commenters echoing some of the same sentiments we've been echoing.
Yeah.
So this is not just an us thing. And
right.
the YouTuber in particular does a ton of LD only runs in Lufenia Plus content, and they've been doing that for a bit. I'm gonna try and find a link in the meantime, but just wanted to preface.
But I translated it for TCC chat and for BC, and so the guys, like, I've got like 4 theories of why there's such a big dip this last month, and he's saying it's especially strange because the 4 BT plus characters are very popular characters, so we shouldn't have seen a dip. He uses a previous month. He uses June that sold 1.8 to that's 1.8 million. Right. This is by million. So
Post the link in chat now.
For like yeah. So he's saying like June had really popular BT pluses. I think he said like Squall and Cloud were in there among some others. So that's why you see a big spike, especially after because he's saying like if you look at the trend, he's like February is the highest, and that's when Lufenia Plus started. And then he's saying it goes down a bit to May, and then he says June it ticks up again because a bunch of popular BT pluses came out. Squall, Cloud, whatever came out that month. I don't fucking remember. And then he says
Cloud, Lightning. Well, no, Lightning already had it, but she got yeah. And then
and some other people.
Sayador. It was Sayador. It was before that. It was Gilgamesh and Vainly.
Gilgamesh was in there. Yeah.
And then Sayador, and then it was Cloud, and then Tidus, Cloud, Tidus, Squall, And Lightning
Tidus,
got
yeah, there you go. Yeah. So he's like lots of pro tags, very popular characters, so of course it shot up. And he's saying August is strange because the 4 BT pluses are also extremely popular characters, but this is like the
Zach,
lowest
Ramza,
we've seen all year.
Laguna, and
Right. So that's how he prefaces why he's like trying to dissect this month. He's like, what an anomaly it is. Like it shouldn't have been as low as it is. And then he gave 4 theories that I think are really good talking points. And then I was talking to the Void and chat about it briefly. So the first one is he's saying, if you were buying the Whale Pass up to this point, you would have enough to fully max out an Ultima weapon. That's his first point. So he's saying his theory is that Ultima weapons are ultimately excessive. They give way too much power. They enable way too many people, because if you do like Greatsword, you're enabling like close to 30 characters, close to a fifth of the cast, right? You do unique weapons, the same thing, or like one-handed swords. And he's saying he theorizes most people got the Whale Pass until they can MLB an Ultima weapon, which would be at the end of July. Then they just dropped it, because you not only do you only need one Ultima weapon to enable most of your cast, but now that they're letting you refund that every month, that you can switch it around monthly. Yeah, it's insanely excessive. He says he thinks Ultima weapons are killing the game because they enable so much of the cast, and that like it's just excessive power. As BC was saying, like you don't need this power, but it lets you shit all over content. And so he says people probably dropping the Whale Pass because of that. That's his first
diminishing returns on the both
yeah,
passes.
yeah, that's his first theory, diminishing returns, right? And then the second thing he says is nothing to spend your money on. He like in his words, he's like, there's like 2 skins a month, maybe I want to buy. And then he's like, they should really be throwing out more skins, because it's just repeat skins and 2 new skins a month. And then he says, and then what else are you gonna buy? Like armor tokens, fucking power stones, like BT plus ingots that you don't need right now, because you can ride like 6-month-old BT pluses or HAA pluses. Like you don't need. He's like, you don't need any of this. There's very little incentive for whales to buy any of this shit right now because content is so easy. So it's just like garbage. Like you're buying skins maybe, and they need more of that. And so that's something Mark's always been saying. And then he's saying like boss HP is not increasing at nearly the same rate that player HP damage is increasing, which definitely lowers incentive to pull and buy. And then he has a chart up. I don't know if you have it clipped, but he's saying like, look at all the ways we can stack HP damage. Look how high it gets. And then if you compare it to boss HP, you can kill bosses, as Nidre is saying, in like under 15 turns very easily without optimization, which is very, very boring content. And then I think his very last point was, let's see here. Oh, right. Just the lack of difficulty in content means no reason to pull. Right. And this is what the Void was saying as well. He was saying the Void said this feels like mid chaos where you just didn't have to pull. And I was saying in chat, oh, right, because EX Plus, I think, was a mistake. You don't really have to buy anything.
Yes.
Players got a lot of free upgrades. Free upgrades. Right. And then the Void's like, oh, yeah, it feels the same with C90 right now. And in his fourth point, he's saying there's no incentive to pay because C90 feels like the true tuning pass right now. And it's free.
Yeah. At least with EX Plus, you had ingots,
Yeah.
But C90 is literally, they're reworking everyone under the sun.
Yeah,
and it's just a weapon passive. Yeah.
They give you enough crystals to do everybody. There's no scarcity. So, like, they're giving you the free power. So it's like the C90 is a bigger deal than, like, getting a new BT Plus or getting an LB. Like, there's very little reason to pull right now. He's saying you can do all content with just the C90s and hoard for, like, 6 months. So, yeah, like, I feel like these are all really good theories on why the game is suffering. And also, fuck all the people who said, oh, the game's doing better than ever when it's easy, best state of the game, because clearly the numbers are showing it's not true. If there's no incentive to pull, people aren't going to pull. Like, why would they spend more money? All the people who said, oh, I'm willing to spend more money when I'm not forced to pull, that's bullshit. let me see.
Yeah, we're seeing that in practice right now.
Yeah, let me see the record.
This is the definitive in practice. That theory is not doing so well. And again, Like JP Twitter, like I've seen some. Again, this isn't a great sample size, but some of the sentiments we're expressing are being expressed independent of us. So it's not just an echo chamber.
Yes. And Yuya is saying, is that bad? Is like 1.2 million a month?
I was going to ask you
bad?
what you thought about that as well, because I don't have any perspective for it.
They've been tracking the old stuff, they've been averaging 2 million for the longest time. So it's a big dip from what they're used to. If you take the standard, once the game starts losing its expected income, then that's like a dangerous thing, right? Like this month is clearly showing it's below the 2 million average. I mean, it could tick up again, as we've seen, but like 1.2 million compared to their average 2 million, that's like you getting 60% of your salary, man. Like that's saying, like, is that really bad? Yeah, is that really bad, getting 60% of my salary? It means someone's fucking up somewhere. It's a big enough discrepancy that he made a video saying, like, this is an unusual dip.
Yeah. So LDs are wrapping up, so I expect something power creepy soon, which is why I'm withholding judgment. But I don't know how we got here. How did we start talking about this?
I don't know. I blame Nidre. He said something.
I do blame Nidre.
I don't know. It was probably related to my question about like enjoying the game and the fact that things were really easy and stuff like that. And you wanted to talk about like from a money perspective. I think
say
that's where
it doesn't feel rewarding to win. Like
yeah, I mean that's fair. But the reason I ask is because I play Pokemon Masters, and the most difficult fights in the game there last a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
And it is very rewarding when you win. But yeah, I think there's probably too many button presses for it to be very rewarding in DFFOO. Like it's just not. They're different games, basically.
Yeah, same thing in Genshin with the Abyss, where those fights you either get waxed in a couple minutes, or like Genshin fights like 5 minutes max. Like you need to do this in 5 minutes or else you fail. I'm not sure how they could. Maybe that's what they're going for, restructuring Dissidia to be more like that. But I don't know.
Was there a period of time? Because I haven't been playing for as long as some of you guys have. Was there a period of time?
Just for the stream. How long have you been playing? When did you start playing?
Oh right, yeah. I started playing at EMP EX Plus. So that was like I think that historically that's like the beginning ish of mid.
It's like the second
chaos.
month of EX. It's second or third month of chaos, I believe.
Right. So I think that's when things started to cool down. But that's when I started. I don't know. Was there a period of time earlier on when the game was like shorter fights that were still challenging, but not as long? Because you hear these. I mean, the things that I always hear are these stories about like 130 turn runs of Vanille LC or some shit like that, and like that doesn't sound like it was that fast either.
I did 142 turns, I think, on the Artifact Behemoth stage when I first started. That was super rewarding to beat. I was farming Sarah artifacts before she got her cursed artifacts, so that was super value. Way worth the 142 turn fight. It was nail biting.
I think it
those
started
3
picking
waves.
Up. Eamon saying EX fights didn't take long. Same with Cosmos. Yeah, you can go back and compare video length. I think it was around Chaos when it started taking longer.
I would say as well. Vanille LC is an exception to the rule in the sense
100%.
that it was a marathon.
It was overtuned.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, actually. I didn't feel like fights were that long in... They were high turn count because you would have to brave, and a lot of abilities were brave only, etc. So the turn count would generally be higher, but like the fight itself didn't go on too long, I found.
Yeah, because Brave and HP animations were fast. So were mostly
animations were a lot faster. Yes, that's also good.
I want to address Hartshorn before I bounce right here, but he's saying like people say the content can't be too hard, or else new people wouldn't be able to clear everything. I think BC and I are famously on the side of new players shouldn't expect to clear everything. That's such a strange attitude.
Yeah, that's.
I think like if you pick up any other game like this, like FFRK,
not even like this, just in general.
Yeah,
you don't get new at something and then jump into the hardest stuff.
Literally takes
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 time.
like months of
I'm still
work
not
to
in Genshin
reach the end game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I mean, Ink, you can speak to this because I did a little research. I told you I tried to get into Magic earlier in the year, and people are saying it takes about a year to build a good enough collection to really compete in ranked ladders. So like,
I mean, you can just buy like you can go and you can just buy a deck. The problem is you probably need hundreds of reps with it, of testing and stuff before you actually can play competitively. For sure.
Right. Yeah. So it takes time to build a deck, though, basically, right? And that's just one deck, and then there's multiple. But the thing is, like, I don't understand if this is like a DFFOO community only thing.
I
that
haven't seen
really
this anywhere else.
like, new players should be able to do all like. Endgame is specifically made to entertain the really hardcore long-time players. Like they even say when you boot up very hard this time, right? It's like, hey, warning, this fight is for advanced players who've been playing for a long time, so don't get discouraged if you can't beat it. And then everyone used Warrior of Light. But the point is, like, Endgame is tailored to a different audience than most of the game is. So I'm not sure I understand where this quote-unquote entitlement of, well, they need to make it easy so you can just join the game and beat things like in a week. Like, that's then what's the point of the game? There's no long-term payoff.
Yeah, I would say as well, that wasn't really an attitude the player base had in the early stages of DFFOO, like in the C50 era, like, and that was a reality of where, you could have, like, we didn't have pity, right? So you had like one or two rough pulling sessions, and chances are, like, you weren't gonna really be able to like clear the hardest fight for probably about a month until you could get your gem reserves back up and pull again. So and like, people seem to just they understood that was the ecosystem. Like, pulls bad, you're missing shit. Whereas now it's more just like, I don't get that. I don't get the whole idea of you should just be able to do everything.
I don't either.
No.
Yeah, I didn't beat anything above level 50 for 3 months. I just collected resources, waiting for the 60 awakenings.
Word.
Or a good banner, and I like pulled a lot on Sephiroth banner so that I could clear like level whatever it was, 80 and 100 sort of.
And in fairness, though, I think maybe one of the factors behind that is that the endgame quests at that time were just purely just resources, right? Nothing, not like ingots or like pages for the blue armor. There wasn't anything cool. Yeah, there wasn't anything like substantially cool locked behind the endgame quests other than like progressing your upgrades faster. Well, I suppose it's doing that anyway with Lufenia, but it's like that's the only way you get the upgrades is by doing the Lufenias. So
Go ahead.
Are we gonna go back in BT Plus era to this like resource hoarding of sorts? Because
Yes.
like you can't max all the weapons.
Yes.
Well, don't you think we're kind of already there in GL for people who are like hoarding materials for blue armors?
Yep.
No.
Oh.
I
am.
No, I don't think we're there, because you still see there's tons of people that are like Yunat Agrias bled me dry. They're not saving. They're not.
Well, we're talking about blue stuff. I mean, well, obviously some people are going nuts, but the hoarders are rising through the ranks again.
Like, maybe.
I mean, I think there's two things here. I mean, there's a few things here, but like the hoarding of the materials that you get for beating the higher difficulties is one thing, and then the hoarding of the materials that you get that you need to use to pull is like another thing. And so I think we've had discussions about this in the past where we kind of feel like, or at least I feel like, the way that they have it set up right now in JP for these realization materials, for bluing armor or for greens or for ultimate weapons or whatever, is actually a very nice way of doing it. It's just a matter of the fact that the content is tuned so low that you could not get any of that stuff and you would still be fine in the content. So it's just
and run Ida plus Sephiroth.
Right, or be a degenerate and only have one green and no blues.
Yeah.
You can get away with that stuff, and if the content were tuned a little higher, then it might not be quite there would be more demand. Maybe the revenue would be a little bit higher. Whales would be buying these packs to get an edge. I think things would work a little bit better if things were just a little bit more
tighter.
A little tighter, exactly.
Yeah, like Genshin, right? I keep comparing it to Genshin, but Genshin, I'm eating shit with my Constellation Zero Raiden Shogun, and knowing that she gets that more powerful if I were to pull again. But I'm like, no, I don't want to go broke on this game. So like the incentive is absolutely there, but right now in JP, it's just the incentive is kind of gone because people are still dusting old stuff with like really old units, and for some people, it sounds good. Dusting stuff with older units really only starts to feel rewarding if the stuff doesn't like roll over. So like imagine if you press Sabin skill 2 and half the boss's HP went away like that. Like you just feel like well fuck. I mean, I like using Sabin, but I also like the bosses to put up a fight. And now like that's how I feel with Zac right now. I love Zac to death. Sure. I mean, he does so much damage, and he prevents the party from taking damage, but the bosses aren't doing anything in the first place. Like at least in the past with Zac, he protected the party. There was a little more nuance to it, but now it's just like I barely even like pay attention when I play fights now. Wing 19 for $10. Been wanting to hear your take on JP for a while, so I'm glad to hear this. Also, you in the chat like the video. Man has a point. Go ahead and like the video, y'all. Thanks for shouting that out. Shout out to you, Wing 19. You're the GOAT.
He has a beautiful icon there of everybody's favorite Final Fantasy character.
Yes, that's the other thing. That's a great
Sid
point. I love Cisne, but I can't believe Riku's not in the game. Like that's such a tired thing to say. But come on, like who decides these things? Pikachu, I hoard my likes.
Yeah, it's at a point where it's honestly almost embarrassing that they haven't taken the time. And Riku is one, but like Tella is another. Like also, Tella's not in the game. Tella is like one of the practical starting characters of FF4, and he's not in the game either. And that's crap also, because he would have such a good story with Golbez. Why they didn't combine him with Golbez BT Plus is like bullshit.
Try using Zac without pressing the BT button. First off, why would I do that? That's lame. But if I were to do that, still content. It's not like content would attack me anyways. So
yeah, we did try using Zac without pressing the BT button. That was like the last 4 months of Zac's existence with LD only.
Yeah, So I did that tons.
Yeah, you did it tons, and it wasn't appealing to me. So we know how that goes.
Yeah, I did that tons, and then the content was actually challenging now, and the content got less intensive. Doing that would actually just be easier. Why are we okay?
Yeah, I do have a theory about the rollout of the characters that you brought up, Ink. Is that I think that they're saving some of these for down the road. Like kind of again, somebody brought up the point in chat. That's the Void said that it's the break the glass when the revenue drops below 1 million. I think one of the problems for me in like the BTLD era is they front loaded all the BTs and LDs of the protagonist characters that people liked, and then they were like, okay, well we need to extend the BT and LD era a little longer. So they started giving Gilgamesh and Theodore BTs. People are not gonna get out of bed to pull Theodore BT. They're not excited about
Gilgamesh.
That.
I've been an advocate of pulling the 2 week synergies, but Gilgamesh broke me out of that. I was just that uninterested, and if I didn't have Theodore's LD, I wouldn't have gone for it either.
Right.
It's just like Karen, they've been like these new I have a lot of the LDs at this point, so I just happen to have them by chance. But like running them back in global, like if I don't have the LDs at this point, I'm probably just skipping them entirely because we can auto the challenge quest by the chaos challenges now. By the way,
exactly. There's no reason to pull for the challenge quest anymore because if you have one LD unit, you can basically solo, and then if you have the other 2 units, you put C90 on them. Even an unbuilt. I was using an unbuilt Waka in the most recent CQ, and I pressed his S1, and it did like 100k damage. And I don't have him. I have like random weapons, random passives on it. So what's the point? The CQs have been totally crapped at this point.
Well, no, I mean LD characters can solo Lufenia Plus now. So
yeah, yeah. Chad asking why I skipped Gilgamesh because I just didn't care. it was just like I looked at it and I remember the last time like I thought about Jagrin and I pulled Jagrin's LD because 2 weeks energy and I don't even think I used him for the challenge quest. So I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Let me just try shit without it, and I was okay. And I was just like, I really don't need any of this. It's just the notion of try things before you pull. I'm trying to stick to that more often. It's just resulted in me hoarding more. So.
And
And the
I mean,
other, go ahead, Wade. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say the other thing is that you almost get like pull fatigue when you can beat all the stages with what you have. That's what happened with me at the end of EX Plus. Like, why bother pulling Aphmau? I'm killing all content. Why do I need Cater? I've got like 15 purple EX Pluses for entropy. I don't care about these characters, so why pull them?
Someone's asking in the chat, Ink, how do you put in a trouble ticket? The website doesn't work. I don't know what that means.
For Tonberry Troop or like something?
I assume he means the Tonberry Troop site.
Yeah, I mean, that's Google Sites. So if Tonberry Troop is down, we're not publishing anything now. We already published. So if it's down, it's Google.
Maybe join the Materiabot Discord and try and sort that out. Devin Steele, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Hop on Materiabot. I'll grab the invite. I'll put it in the. Well, no, I'm lying. I'm on my phone, so it's really hard to put things in chat.
Chat talking about Greg. Go ahead.
You had an item about like the priorities of the game, Inc., or like how the game should be. Did we touch on that already, or?
I don't know where that was going either. But if you wanted to throw that.
Wait, what? Oh, shit. Oh, did I send that to you, BC?
You did. Wait, Surge X25 saying, will conversion of red ingots nuggets to red... Wait, conversion of blue to red... No, that wouldn't work, because they give us more blue ingots than red ingots for a reason. To Bottleneck. They'll never do that.
Yeah, I think if they're going to let off the gas on the red ingot Bottleneck, what they'll do is they'll make the next tier after LD that's coming in November for JP. They'll make that have a higher CP than EX Pluses do, and then you could just sell all your EX Pluses once you get one of those. That's the most likely way, not some other system where the blue things turn into the red things.
Or they're just going to stack forever for veterans, like Bloom tokens.
Also a possibility.
They could just die. They'd be a dead currency.
Yeah. Bloom is way dead.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
But
I just got all the blooms myself, and I started much later than you guys.
Congrats. So. Now you never need to buy them from a shop again. As long as they'll just hand them to you, so you'll have a surplus just naturally.
Yeah, I'm only missing one bloom, and you can guess who that is. But
I see.
The thing that I was going to talk about or mention is it feels like as we keep going, like there's so much bad information propagating, and I'll call out Eamon, right? So Eamon was like, "Oh my God, Yuffie has 85% attack aura. That's busted," or said like, "That's sick." Like, yeah, but Yuffie has no other auras. She has like Embrave plus 60 or something like that, but that's it. How is an 85% attack aura sick, or even for that matter, how is it even slightly important at this point when most characters probably have excess of like, especially in a balanced party, you're probably got like 400% attack up or so, like 300 or 400% attack up. Adding 85, like you've got massive diminishing returns. You've got people. This is why I pinged BC today, and I was like, hey, I'm thinking of like changing the sphere hub on the Tonberry Troop site to just call out valuable spheres per letter, and literally for A sphere, just put none, because unless you have 3 A spheres and you put maybe 30% brave damage on, like
beyond marginal gains.
It's so small, it won't affect turn count. Like people are like, oh my God, should I put this sphere on or this sphere on? And like they're literally spending mental energy on something that has no impact on the game. And I feel like this is continuing to propagate where these like almost useless concepts of like what's important in a kit. Like it feels like people are losing their ability. I'm not just using these 2 cases. I've been hanging out in questions chat in main chord. People know that I tend to hang out there. Like, there's a lot of people there that are giving advice that don't know what they're talking about.
No
Like,
skin in the game. They don't get held responsible for their shit takes. Raw Life said Eamon put Pain Sphere on Yuffie. Yikes. What were you smoking? That's almost as bad as Mark putting... No, nothing will be bad as Mark. But Mark put Irvine Sphere on X-Death. That's not as bad, but that's pretty bad. I think it was Mino that pointed out in TCC Gen Chat that Eamon was hyping up 85% attack or on Yuffie because Rosa has 90.
That's
Violent.
There it is. Attack aura is made more effective by her defense down, which he has 100%. Yeah, the defense down is more impactful than the attack up. But yeah,
like, it's a good swing, but
just the 85% attack aura. That's not, that alone isn't doing that much for you.
Is this the victim, or is this the result of this thinking? Is this because you can't customize your characters very much, and so people are like grabbing at straws to customize their teams?
To customize, more like justify. Looking
Yeah,
at all the
well,
pros.
I think
Justify,
that
but-
draw has always been there. I mean, back when artifact grinding sucked, like, people were desperate to just be the guy in the community with the best arts for a specific character.
That was horrible. I'm
Oh,
glad
no.
the best
Trigger.
X whatever kind of died off. I mean, Spheres unfortunately threw it into a different realm, but
Well, I'd argue that there was more merit to old artifacts as they were, because you at least had to like commit to a grind to get that. So you had to be fairly dedicated and actually sink a lot of time to become the best X character in the community or whatever, as like meaningless as that is. But in this case with Spheres, it's just like who cares? I just
the
don't
Void
care.
says,
I feel like
"Is
you were
this a
setting
repeat
yourself-
of the artifacts are useless discourse? It's in the same area."
I feel like you were setting yourself up there, Neck, to brag about your science.
Oh, it was coming. I was waiting for it. I was
Oh,
about to hit him
I-
with the Swift. Nobody cares.
Yeah, no, my Sphere setup with that is well known by now. It bears no need to be repeated. Although I'll remark, I like the poetry behind it, given the character sphere it is. So
The person that purpled 3 Jacked EX for Machina. I remember that.
Like,
I remember that.
I mean,
I'm
at
ready
this
for
point,
Ultimate
you can do
Spheres.
whatever you want, right? Like,
yeah, we
I
have so much
purpled-
surplus for ingots, so.
I've purpled Maria a couple times. I've purpled Seven 3 times, Edgar 4 times. Like, who cares? We
You're
have
also
so
on
many
ingots.
ingots.
Didn't you go Ingot
No.
Broke, or was that Nidre? It was one of you idiots.
No, I'm not.
I've gone pretty close to Ingot Broke. JP, certainly, that's kind of a separate story. I haven't been playing JP as long.
Oh, there it was. It was JP. Okay, never mind.
In GL, I will go Ingot Broke at some point, according to my planner. Which,
Oh god, degenerate.
Yeah, which is its
FFOOtip.com.
own degeneracy.
Yes.
Excellent.
Enable the degeneracy. FFOOtip.com.
Yes, I'm a fan of it, of course, but I will go Ingot Broke at some point. However, I'm going for the kind of stupid whaley goal of trying to get everybody purpled. So, you would kind of expect me to run into some issues doing that.
Yeah, you're a self-admitted degenerate, so at least you acknowledge it. It's okay.
Honestly, though, I think like it's such a shame how little of a shit they gave about Spheres in the end, because like at the very least,
I'm glad.
the only Spheres that are relatively interesting are E. Like the rest is C. Some C Spheres are all right, but like it's just, the rest of them are just like it's just boring, just small stat boosts. Like it's just so uninteresting. Whereas like with E's, it like for a while like there was some like interesting little quirks with like giving a specific character a specific debuff, sphere for example. There's that whole shit with Kadaj or something. I forget the specific of it, but it doesn't matter.
If they-
Anyway, go on.
No, like for sure. We talked like giving Ulti her own sphere or something, or like Tidus sphere was big because you dropped defense so that like she'd hit harder,
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, so that's been a thing, but I think they just implemented spheres improperly. If they stacked it against the overall stat at the end, then they would be amazing, right? Like after all your 300% attack buff, if you like did I'm not gonna try to go like full math on, but if you applied it at the end, so if you pumped your attack up to 10,000 from 3,000, and then you applied 10% attack there, that's so much more valuable than applying the attack at the base value like it happens now.
That
Yeah.
sounds like
That's
we run
why-
into the ultimate weapon problem though, where you overload
Yeah.
units.
But like, consider how interesting would it have been, say, if D spheres worked in a similar way with E spheres, in the sense that, like, under a condition you gain like a specific like actual buff, and like it could just be raw stats like a max brave up or something, or it could also be like enfeeblement up. So you could do
Sounds
some
like a
quirky
headache.
things if a boss resisted debuffs, for example. Or but like they could have actually made them interesting choices instead of just shitty stat boosts. But yeah, it's a shame.
That sounds like I prefer things being streamlined. The Void said, I don't think they could have made spheres too impactful because they're locked behind fully realizing an EX weapon will be too whaley. I disagree with that sentiment because this is what I thought Ultima weapons were good for. They were good for being overkill and incentivizing you to pay. So there's nothing inherently like Ultima weapons at their core are a good idea because well, one, if they're there for overkill, then they incentivize spending for people who want to overkill. That's fine. But the other side of it is you need to make it not necessary to make it over to be used, because that's when the game becomes pay to win. So you don't want it to be necessary, but you want to feel like good if you use it, or like well spent. And the problem in JP right now is that you don't feel like it's well spent because you overkilled stuff just as easily without the weapon. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's definitely a part of the power tuning. I think that Ultimate Weapon is like another great example of, I think what Inc. is trying to like hint at here or bring up here is that spheres could have been a system where you can make kind of interesting choices in building your characters in different ways. Whereas normally when you're building a character, there's not really a choice. Your choice is, do I purple this character or do I purple that character? Ultimate Weapon is another system that could be like that, because you can decide, okay, am I going to get dupes of weapons? Which weapons am I going to get first? Am I going to try to focus on MLBing for this one? How many characters are coming up with it in the future? But as you pointed out, at the end of the day, what you're going to have is, I finished the fight in 13 turns instead of 14 turns.
Yeah.
The turn requirement was 65, so who cares?
Yep. Malicite saying, I think I said it right. A C90 is a huge balance reset for the whole cast, as it appears to be. Where do they go from here? Just more reductions. that's what they always do. They're gonna crank it up eventually. It's just and you can see that they're flying through C90 in the end of LD. They're flying through it. They're giving everyone C90 really quickly. So they're trying to, but it's just the fact that the cast is so big and it's taking so long, which is probably why it feels bad. But it will definitely even out. It just doesn't feel fun right now. So I'm not afraid for the state of the game. It's just this was an unfortunate consequence of what and I've been calling it a rebalancing. They're giving everyone the same template on their C65, like some sort of stat up, some sort of temporary brave cap up, brave gain up, brave damage up, etc. And then once everybody has it, they're gonna cut it again, so we stop capping damage. So that's clearly. And then I think at that point, ultimate weapons will start to feel like, and it won't feel overkill, but it's a consequence of early design decisions.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like if we remember the mid chaos era, you had people saying on RNA, the best artifacts are 330 and C50, because why wouldn't you be capping? Then, down the road, she wasn't capping. They changed the fights and they changed the reductions. I think this era's version of that is Ultima Weapon saying, oh, who cares? You don't even need it. It's the same kind of thing.
Good point. Damn, I didn't even think about it like that. Huh. Yeah, I'm sure we'll appreciate a lot more of the stuff we're getting now later, but it's going to be one of those situations like Porum in GL, where people don't realize how valuable it is because we don't have the foresight to, which makes things fun in hindsight. It keeps things fresh. What would they call the new difficulty? I don't know. They're out of names at this point, aren't they? The fuck is left? Maybe they could start
Garland's
Garland.
Party House.
Garland's Party House. I see. What's the? I don't even know the fucking gods' names in Dissidia Operandi anymore.
Materia and Spiritus.
Materia difficulty, Spiritus difficulty. I mean, they're really running out of. Lufenia was already a stretch, so they might have to go that route, or maybe it's some obscure reference to NT because I never played that story. Ultimate difficulty. Ultimate weapons increase your damage and your cap. It doesn't change your brave hits to get you to cap.
I mean, this feels like the end of Cosmos now. Like, the end of Cosmos was super easy.
Yeah, we just rolled. Cosmos just rolled over. And then Chaos hit us like a truck. But unfortunately, we have memory. We didn't get a spike like Chaos before. But if it just Chaos us, even Lufenia Plus wasn't nearly as hard of a pivot as Chaos was. But it seems like they're getting the entire roster. Like they've had multiple attempts to try and bridge a new difficulty, and something goes wrong every time. Cosmos to Chaos was just a hard cutoff. Like people just died right at that difficulty. Chaos to like LD through early LD and like Challenge era, it wasn't quite accessible because you needed specific units to do that, so that wasn't very engaging. And then Lufenia, the orbs weren't. People were just bullshitting through the orbs, so they said, fuck it, put the foot on the gas and overtune fights again. And they tried to give us the weapons early, but they didn't spread it out enough. So it looked like their design approach this time was, okay, rebalance everything, give everyone 1 million hits on everything. Maybe they'll introduce a number crunch at the same time. Everyone has their inherent stat boosts, and we're not going to lock it behind anything. And then we're going to encourage people to get their ultimate weapons. So I keep saying it. I'm not afraid of the game's future. Game's gonna be fine. It's just I think this was, what's the word in development? This is tech debt they accrued by just the way the game is. And I think this was something that was, this rebalancing period was something that was unfortunately unavoidable, and they had to get it out the way somehow. And at the very least, we didn't get hoed in content while they were getting it out the way.
Isn't it hosed, not hoed?
No, hoed as in prostituted.
Yeah, I think we definitely. I agree that the rebalancing, it kind of feels that way. Like if you look at characters like Vincent and JP or Lisa and JP right now, like they're so far in the past, it kind of makes sense that they're trying to bring everybody up. And then I mean we've seen it in the past, like you said, these different transitions. Usually it's accompanied by two different things. One are harder mechanics in general. Some of these fights earlier about, like some fights early in the Luf Plus era have like all these mechanics, all these threshold attacks, things you have to keep in mind. And then a lot of reductions is the other thing. And maybe this time Multiracial Lion was bringing up a point, you wouldn't need an ultimate weapon because it doesn't help you cap anymore. Maybe in the future they're going to have cap down as their next reduction. Who knows, right? But it's always a numerical. That's how they number crunch
us. They just don't let us with the numbers.
Yes, yeah. Now you can only cap at 5K. Now you need cap up to do anything decent. Those are the kind of things that they've done at transitions in the past. So that's what they'll probably do going forward, I imagine.
So do you guys? I was going to say something dumb, but I actually want to ask something serious. Was there in JP a lot of? I know it happened in GL, but when BTs came around, it was like, wow, they're giving Squall new weapons, and friggin' Laguna and Realm and Thancred don't even have their EX Plus yet. Are they trying to fix that this time around, and that's why they're like waiting so long to tweak and introduce a new weapon tier? Is because they're actually trying to complete the LD list?
That maybe. It really is just speculation what it appears they're trying to do.
Yeah, it does seem that way. There's going to be one more month if they progress the way that they've been progressing so far. The next month, October, we'll have all the last LDs. It kind of felt bad in the EX era when you were like, oh man, my favorite is Laguna, and he's just getting screwed here. Which sounds like Ink's dog is making some noises.
Oh, sorry.
And
Beal's gonna take that part too.
and so that didn't feel so good. But on the other side, like if you're getting through some of these characters that people care a little bit less about, like that are coming in the next era or the next couple of months in JP, they maybe that's worse to be kind of waiting on these people to come when they could have been doing a new weapon or something like that.
What's Nick's dog? Cross is asking what your dog is.
He is a Bedlington Terrier. They look like lamb or weird dogs.
Interceptor, premium dog.
He's yeah. We didn't. Interceptor is way too long of a dog name. Like if you've had a dog, if you had to say like Interceptor, come here, like that's way too fucking long. That's too many syllables.
Hopefully these last LD won't get screwed by the Nero. Hopefully. Nidre, do you think is it looking like C90 is gonna overlap with the next tier? Then is that how it's looking? It has to, because we have
we have
I was
C80
characters who won't have C90.
I was actually talking with Rem about this the other day. And he thinks that roughly at the pace that we're going, C90 will run out around when Anniversary is in JP. So that is kind of an interesting coincidence as well. It could be C100 or whatever the next power creep there could be for JP. And then, of course, for GL, C90 will be also at Anniversary. So there'll be some interesting things going on at Anniversary for sure.
Hail Mary, maybe they'll step on the gas in terms of content during that time. And
I'm always a fan of that, but
they don't. The downside is that the co-ops are hot ass during C90.
Yeah,
so, that's probably the other frustrating thing, is that we spend more time in co-op than the Lufenias.
Oh yeah, this is a question maybe for the GL folks here. What do you guys think of this Chaos co-op after so many bad Chaos co-ops?
Yeah, this was the good Chaos co-op that ends very quickly, which is why I always try and differentiate between long co-op and Chaos co-op. Because
how much of it is because of Yuna, and how much of it is because of Agrius being able to lock them out and not let them take turns?
Well, the boss just doesn't have that much HP. That's really all it is. It just dies quickly. Pandemonium's Chaos, whatever that Chaos was, where Zidane BT Plus could delete it in 2 turns. That was a great Chaos co-op. But then they had the Ace Cosmos co-op took longer than the Yuna and Zidane Chaos co-ops. So it really is a matter of how much HP the boss has. That's really all that matters. Like the rewards are nice. Like people want the rewards, but they don't want to spend as much time in it. So what people are really saying when they want long Chaos co-ops is they want more rewards. So more rewards, less time. It ain't Lail's garbage. Nidre, you're reading chat, but better. Yeah.
It's definitely better.
This was a good Chaos co-op, but it's also not incentivized for Square Enix because we're not wasting as much time in co-op. Because I did this Chaos co-op in like 1 15-minute book because I don't be getting my crystals and the blooms and shit. So this didn't take me that long, so I ain't touched it.
I used a couple books because, man, I needed like I don't know. I ran out of money. I was at like
Gil?
2 million gil. I ran out of money.
That's crazy.
Just trying to max Yuna's artifacts to get double cursed.
Wow. Damn.
And some bad luck on a Mog pass.
Damn. Single target Chaos Call plus Tifa equals rate. Well, the Galaxy Brains keep bringing fucking Jack and Kurasame Call when why aren't people bringing Tifa Call in co-op? It boggles my mind. It does so much damage.
Actually, I have a new most hated call that I've seen quite a lot, and that is Caius Call.
People still bring Caius Call to co-op? Oh no.
You're using Caius Call.
I don't know. I think Jack Call is more offensive than Caius Call in co-op.
I've been seeing a lot of people bringing back the Ramza Call, which, like, that was great a year ago. But I don't know why you're making me press launch buttons in co-op.
The Caius Call is offensively bad, though. It
deals like 70k.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Both bronze calls back to back, bro. We have Tifa at a single target. Just press the Tifa button. The change in artifact purchase was also great. Yes, this it significantly cuts down the amount of artifact farming time, which ultimately contributed to the devaluing of the Mog Pass. Because once you get all your artifacts done, you're like, well, what now? Ramza, Amikal.
I think the ultimate staple for Kurosame callers is the ones that LD and then do the fucking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the best.
I was gonna. People ask me what I hope for 6-man. I hope it's good. I don't know what else to say. Do I have high hopes? I don't have high hopes for anything. This is not how I approach things. I just hope it's good.
I don't think we're hoping for much of anything before November in JP.
Cross is asking, could they do something unique or interesting? I hope so. I think I speak for everyone. It's like I hope so.
That's what we pray for about every facet of this game.
Do both say
As someone that likes game design, there is always something interesting to do. It's just how motivated are you to like put the time in to create something that's fun and engaging.
Yeah. Yep. And the game would definitely benefit from a lot more game modes.
I mean, Fred definitely says this too. You look at some of the fights in early Lufenia Plus with all these mechanics, Divine Shiva being an extreme example, I guess, versus the bosses that don't remember to use HP attacks. You can tell that there's a period of time when the fight designers are more engaged and a period of time when they're a little less engaged.
Yep, like the bosses have been taking their turns back in these recent fights, but then whatever they do isn't very threatening. Wasting my degree. If 6-man quest is good, maybe they could bring it for global. I don't think they'd have the bandwidth to balance it like that. I mean, in an ideal world, yes, they'd be doing more to improve the global experience, but my hopes are not up. I wanted to, before we start wrapping up, I wanted to shout out the live stream with Raw Life, Type Zoe, and Blart. I did manage to catch the episode last week. If you're looking for more long-form Dissidia content, they do a stream every Monday evening. I don't know the time because I didn't catch it live, but I want to try and catch it live this weekend. You can find it on Blart's Dissidia, Blart DFFOO. I'm going to plug his channel right quick in the chat. They cover like current content, and they kind of go off topic like we do, with a little more sprinkled in between. They're kicking off their thing. And I want to, like I say, I want to support upcoming content. So go subscribe to Blart. He's been uploading those streams, and then I think it's Raw Life's YouTube as they're hosting it. I'm gonna try and find it later. But yeah, shout out to them doing content, streaming and stuff, because YouTube doesn't let you stream off the bat. So you got 1K subs. Again, I encourage everyone to try and pick up the mantle and content create, because I guarantee you, the more people that are talking, the more unique takes we can have, and it's a fun skill. It's a fun thing to do, really, just interacting with people. We're not special. Anyone can do this stuff. Lifestream is awesome. Yeah, I was telling Blart this. And this isn't a dig against them. It's not the type of content that I would consume, which isn't really a bad thing, because I'm in such a. It's because I'm a JP player, really, and talking about current GL content when I've experienced it before. Unless I'm talking to people about it, it just doesn't interest me as much. But as global players, which a lot of you guys are, I think it would interest you guys a lot potentially. So again, check it out. Don't subscribe to Alphano though. Actually, do subscribe to Alphano, because swear to God, dude, if you just reminded people to subscribe to your channel, because people be watching your shit all the time, bro. It's just they don't be hitting the subscribe button. You just need to remind them a little bit, like for real. It as soon as I kept reminding people to do it, just like that annoying buzzing in their ear, like people just kept doing it again. So as long as you just, I mean, probably you don't care about it, but getting that YouTube bread. If you could do saying, I want to see you do more low Ingot runs. I want to see you banned. Back to the live stream though. I was saying it's not my type of content, but it is. They are doing their thing on there. I personally, I'm the opposite of Mark. I watch a lot of runs. I watch a lot of run videos, like in my spare time when I'm like dicking around. That's usually what I want to watch. Any thoughts on the randomizer talk? I heard about it, but I didn't look into it.
So the problem with the randomizer is that at face value it looks super cool. And then you actually look at the comments and you're like, okay, cool. Everyone's done all the runs before. They've already like completed it. So it's sort of like posting it. So when you look at other randomizer games, people will post like the time that they got, right? Because it's like a speed run. You randomize things so that it's not easy to do the content. And so without posting turn counts or like anything like that, it's sort of stale. It's like a very easy to solve puzzle and then it's done. So it's a very cool concept, and I support the person that's doing it because I love randomizer, and I was trying it a little bit, but then I looked at the comments and I was like, all right, this got done already. So it almost feels like there should be more selections. I'll probably message the guy. Like there should be more selections of like challenges you can tackle, or some more types of like randomness to it, because it doesn't, I don't know, the person that did Lulu, Yuri, and Fang, like props to you for doing the latest chaos with those three. Like that's not easy. They had to, and you had like limited calls and stuff. So I think there's promise there, but I do think that it needs more tuning so that it's more engaging for the rest of the community, because it feels like it's a rush to see who can do it first, and then once it's done, it's solved, and there's not as much value in it.
Okay, I think we can start wrapping up now. I'm pulling Yuffie tonight, and Cross last minute. People saying Shinryu Lufenia Plus is showing a Lufenia Plus is overhyped by JP players.
Lufenia Plus is lulling a false sense of security. That crap.
I just got my popcorn ready. That's all. That's such a dumb take. It speaks for itself. Yeah. All right. Let's go round table. Necklord, closing thoughts if you're still alive.
I'll confess I am dozing off a little bit.
Yeah, I can tell.
But closing thoughts. I'm scared about the direction of JP with the whole brave hits in very short abilities. I don't know how the fuck they're gonna fix that. That's gonna get even worse with the passage of time. Yeah, number crunch. I don't know how they're gonna do that though. That's gonna be.
They'll pull it off. I think it's universally acknowledged as being silly at this point. And again, it's a consequence of early choices they made in the game.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to think where the sweet spot was. I feel like it was like probably somewhere in chaos. I think the numbers were like a cool point.
Yeah.
And they should have probably just stayed there, and they could have just tweaked defense values and stuff instead.
The thing is that a bunch of hits is easier to scale well with characters. So they said at some point they're trying not to rework people, and then I guess they just said fuck it. But if they give everyone a bunch of like brave hits and then they like crank everybody's numbers down, then it makes it easier to scale at some point. So
I kind of liked, because like DFFOO had its own niche for a time where it was reserved with the numbers for the most part, and I kind of liked that, but they just sort of gave up with that.
Yeah, it was inevitable. As soon as someone has 2 brave hits, and then you got to power people with 4, and then now we're at like 50 brave hits in one attack. It is what it is. Nidre, closing thoughts.
So next week, for in between now and the next ranting hour, we got in GL, we got the Dimensions End Transcendence 4, which is a pretty fun fight, somewhat restrictive. I'm excited to see what people come up with that for that. I'm going to be taking a very meta route, as you probably all expected. I'm definitely bringing out my Von Setzer Yuna once again, same team I used in JP. In JP, we have the 6-man rework coming up this next week. I think we're all kind of excited to see what that could bring. I think people are even more excited for Lise LD. That's everybody's favorite character. That's what we got coming up this next week. There's only 2 events across the 2 regions, so nothing too exciting, but maybe something dramatic will happen, and we'll have a lot to rant about next week. I don't know.
Yep. Any closing thoughts?
You really should let me start sometime. I want to alert people to the dangers of eating cookies and not having milk.
Sure.
It sucks so much that you have to now, like, I'm going to literally, as soon as I'm done on this, I'm going to go to the supermarket and I'm going to go buy some milk. That's how much
the dangers.
I'm so pissed.
Are you in trouble?
No, but I'm in like massive thirst that water can't quench.
Dog, just dip.
It's awful.
I couldn't say that one. I was gonna say dip your cookies in water, but that was too foul for me.
Fuck that! Are you kidding?
I couldn't even get it out.
This is who puts mustard on salmon. Everybody.
Hey, it's not regular mustard. It's Dijon mustard, bro. Don't knock it.
Oh,
that's hella different. What are you talking about? That's hella different. I'm gonna send you the recipe. It's fire. It was parsley, Dijon. It was like the mixing of the Dijon mustard and the parsley. And I think it had something like a little, I forget what the third ingredient was, but you like mix it on there and you like brushed it lightly on the salmon and then you sprinkled some parsley on top. And I think you threw a little bit of lemon on there too. I'm gonna send you the recipe because it's real good. You got to try it. You're bugging with that one. Cross said this man Ink's acting like he got a dry throat in a Popeye's biscuit. Ink's throat is not moist enough. Phrasing, Ink. What a bad take you're getting. Dijon is fun. Yeah, see, Chad agrees that I have the great food takes. You can down a cookie with whiskey. Salocons, you okay, bro?
So whiskey is not bad, and I have a lot of whiskey in my house, but it's not gonna quench like a glass of whole milk will.
Your cookie ain't premium enough. You getting some Skittle cookies?
Fuck that. Why would you do that? That's worse than fucking raisin cookies. Holy crap.
Raisin cookies.
Dude,
Chad, do y'all hate raisin cookies, bro?
No, oatmeal raisin is awesome. Oatmeal is a great combination in a cookie, and oatmeal raisin is a great cookie. But putting just fucking raisins in cookies is gross. Why would you do that?
Because it tastes good.
No, it doesn't. I can't wait to see this recipe. There's probably like ham on the salmon also, isn't there?
Leaf Blade Mouse said cookie with whiskey is the most midlife depression thing I've ever. This is real late end of stream violence if I've ever seen it. Ink is a weeb, so wasabi cook. Yeah. It always goes completely off the rails. No, this is why you go last because you always.
Is crap. I need milk. Are we done here? Like, do your closing thing.
You need help. My closing thoughts are, so we're streaming next week, and then the week after that, I'm going on vacation. So I will finally break the streak right before 30. Whoops. So saying that in advance. Eufy is tonight. Hopefully I don't get robbed again like I did in JP, because I went from capped on tickets to no tickets during the Eufy LD banner. So hopefully it doesn't rob me again. I put enough positive energy out there with Intergrade being amazing, making Eufy go from someone I did not give a fuck about to holy shit, blue on site, Skittles and milk, wasabi flavored great nut, ink flavored cookie. Everyone in chat is going to hell right
disgusting.
now. Y'all are going to hell, and I can't wait.
BC, I hope Eufy takes all your tickets so that you have to gem Barrett.
Why are you like this? I was gonna jump there regardless.
Are you okay?
Does the stream while BC is on vacation? Well, I'm not giving anyone access to my fucking channel, so check out the live stream that Monday if you need some more thing, or the TCC podcast. More people are streaming. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, so I think it's time to wrap it up. Thanks for everyone for coming through. On your way out, be sure to like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. What was I gonna say? I want to play more Strive this weekend. I finished playing Catherine with Mino over the weekend. We did like a 9-hour straight stream on like Sunday, and now Mino's playing Metal Gear Rising, and I'm indoctrinating him into the area of stylish hack and slashers, and he's getting hooked on it. So we'll probably stream that again. Maybe if not this week, then next week. Yeah, y'all are ugly. I'm ending.